So listen here, Kamala Prasad Besessa, you short-sighted, self-serving political disaster. You spineless traitor. While you were on your knees bending over for Donald Trump and the Americans, the rest of the Caribbean kept its dignity. Grenada was approached first by the USA to plant that radar system on their soil. Grenada said no. But not you, Kamala. Kamala said, hey, come on in. Give me that. You jumped at the chance to prove your loyalty, to prove what a little puppet you are. You let them shove that radar straight into Tobago like it was nothing. You sold out our sovereignty. You turned Trinidad and Tobago into America's forward operating base for the region. Also, you can get a pat on the head from Marco Rubio and a handshake from Trump. You spent years viciously attacking Delcy Rodriguez and Venezuela like a rabid dog. While you were busy sucking up the Trump and demonizing our Venezuelan neighbors, real leaders were thinking about the future. Today, Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez just made her first state visit, and guess what? It was not to her next-door neighbor, Trinidad and Tobago. Her first state visit was to the country of Grenada.
Muchísimas gracias, primer ministro. Estamos felices de estar en Grenada. Como usted lo señaló, es mi primer viaje internacional y me siento realmente honrada de ser recibida por usted, por su equipo y por el pueblo de Grenada. La historia de Grenada es un ejemplo para los pueblos de América Latina y el Caribe que por sobre las dificultades optaron por la soberanía y la autodeterminación. Me contenta mucho que podamos afianzar áreas de cooperación en educación que abarque materia de energía, de las ciencias, de los hidrocarburos, materias económicas. Eso incluye también el área de la salud. También hemos abordado materia de transporte aéreo y marítimo, que podamos dibujar una ruta de comercio exterior para nuestros países. Hemos compartido la experiencia de la economía comunal en Venezuela y también hemos abordado el tema de delimitación marítima entre nuestros países. Creo que es muy importante resaltar que así es que se solucionan las diferencias entre los países, por la vía bilateral, diplomática, pacífica y política. Creo que estamos dando enseñanzas y ejemplos frente a otras controversias de esta naturaleza. De tal manera que hemos fijado una fecha de inicio de una gran agenda de trabajo de cooperación entre nuestros países.
She brought a full delegation, stood tall beside Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, and they openly vowed to deepen cooperation between Venezuela and Grenada.
La historia de Grenada es un ejemplo para los pueblos de América Latina y el Caribe que por sobre las dificultades optaron por la soberanía y la autodeterminación.
No groveling, no selling out, just straightforward Caribbean pragmatism. Venezuela has everything that Trinidad has: oil, gas, resources, minerals, and now, with sanctions lifted, they have even more. And they are ready to play.
Grenada es una nación aliada de Venezuela. Trabajan en la agricultura, pesca, la soberanía agroalimentaria, la transición hacia las nuevas tecnologías y el fortalecimiento del turismo por la delegación venezolana.
And thanks to your years of hostility and your disgusting submission to the Americans, you have left Trinidad and Tobago completely exposed. You played your cards like a complete fool, Kamala. Worse than a fool, a traitor. You have weakened us. You have isolated us. You have turned a natural regional partner into an enemy.
Of all the countries in the Caribbean, you chose Grenada first. Why?
It's a neighbor, very close to us.
Trinidad is close to you.
Yeah, but we have relation with Grenada.
All while turning our country into Trump's Caribbean whore. Now Venezuela is moving on, visiting Grenada, building bridges.
Are you going? Are there any other countries that you will be going to anytime soon,
Not
man?
this time, not this time.
Not this time.
The big question hanging over all of this is, will Venezuela replace Trinidad and Tobago in CARICOM? And it's starting to look damn likely. Because while you were getting fucked by Trump and attacking Delcy for years, the rest of the Caribbean was waking up to reality. They see Venezuela rising. They see the opportunities. And they see you and your government for exactly what you are. A bunch of disgusting, short-sighted, power-hungry sellouts who sacrificed Trinidad and Tobago's future. Shame on you, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Shame on your weakness. Shame on your treason. You did not strengthen Trinidad. You bent over and sold us out. And now we're all going to pay for your disgusting betrayal. While Delcy Rodriguez flies around the Caribbean making friends with the people you are currently attacking, Kamla doesn't care about CARICOM. She is in the new Shield of the Americas with Trump and the drug dealer Naboa. So all this brouhaha with Sobers and the back and forth with CARICOM, and it's all a distraction. Kamla Persad's mission is to destroy CARICOM. That if Kamla is a puppet of the United States, you should correctly assume that any threat to the United States will have to be eliminated, and that unified body of Caribbean countries that we call CARICOM is a threat to Trump and America. So it has to be attacked and dismantled. And this is what Kamla Persad-Bissessar is doing. This is her mission. This is the mission of our government. And if you look at everything they are doing, they are taking these steps to actively attack CARICOM. But now Venezuela is on the scene. And it looks like this meeting between Grenada and Venezuela is going to be very prosperous. Because think back in time. Grenada was also invaded and attacked by the United States of America. So Delcy Rodriguez making this country her first international trip is actually very significant. And it shows me a little bit of fight, that she has a little bit of fight left in her. But also, I have to report this to you also. While Delcy Rodriguez is in Grenada, doing this, what I would call a historic and a meeting that will be bright for CARICOM's future. In her country, there are currently protests going on. Yesterday, she made a speech which I think was mostly positive. She did do some attacks on Nicolas Maduro, which I did not agree with. But
Mi primer anuncio para Venezuela. A partir del día de hoy, instalo la Comisión para el Diálogo Laboral que abarque la constituyente laboral en curso y de seguridad social, con participación del Estado venezolano, con participación del sector.
But today, breaking out in Venezuela right now are these protests. So I don't know. I have to look more into these protests. I don't know if this was something that the United States formulated, or I don't know if this was an actual homegrown natural protest. I should dig into it a little more. But either way you look at it, the optics is bad that she left her country as this is happening. One thing I could have been thinking is most likely this meeting with Grenada was done weeks in advance, and the day she left was just coincidental for the day that the protests broke out in Venezuela. That's how I'm actually treating this story for right now. I wouldn't. I'm putting faith into Delcy because and you will be the first. Let me be the first to say this here. I wouldn't say Delcy Rodriguez was the one that betrayed Maduro, even though her actions since then signifies that she was part of the betrayal. I actually think at this point that Nicolas Maduro was the one who issued the stand-down order for the entire country of Venezuela. The only person who has that power is the defense minister, and Delcy I don't think has that power to do that, because the night of the raid, the day of the raid, China was in Venezuela advising on all of this, and Nicolas Maduro made the decision that he didn't want his country destroyed. He didn't want to see what is happening in Iran right now. Even though Iran is fighting back, they are taking a lot of damage and a lot of people are dying. Nicolas Maduro chose not to have that for his country, and he gave himself up to America. That's what I'm reporting for what is happening. So I'm not looking at Delcy so much as a great trader, even though I have an eye on her. I'm looking at this story because I've heard it reported somewhere else. I wish I could pull up that story now, that Nicolas Maduro was the one who gave the stand-down order on the night he was captured. And if this is true, this is you have to admire Mr. Maduro, President Maduro. He is actually still the president of Venezuela. One thing that I was thinking about, if the courts actually released Maduro, because the midterms are coming up and there's going to be like a drastic change in government in the United States, and it looks like right now the case against Maduro is going to fall apart. What would happen if Maduro goes back to Venezuela? That's something I want to talk about in another video. But anyway, that's the story. Delcy Rodriguez has slapped Trinidad and Tobago in the face. You know, when asked why she did not visit Trinidad, her response was, "We have relations with Grenada."
Trinidad is close to you.
Yeah, but we have relation with Grenada.
So keep an eye on this story. Keep an eye on this development, because it looks like Venezuela is stepping in to replace Trinidad and Tobago in this whole CARICOM thing.